I know, right? Let's talk about it all. Hey, Facebook. This is her. This is the real Annagret, the amazing Annagret. She's done it all. She's done. I cannot believe everything that you've done. I looked at your. I know you've done acting, right? Comedy. You've done. Let's see. You've done sales, which is like acting and comedy.
Sometimes it's a little bit like comedy, definitely. It's like total slapstick comedy sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. And then you've done, it says on your list of things, you put becoming a human way down at the bottom. It's like,
What? I have to tell you. I am a spiritual person, right? But at one point, I just, all lines blurred, and I've taken it too far at this point. I am 1000% convinced that I am actually an alien, or at least an alien, and I'm just looking for proof of that constantly, so...
I feel like I'm from another planet sometimes too when I don't relate to mean people. Just don't get it.
Well, mean people are just assholes, so yeah, mean people, I feel you on that one.
I know.
They can just go through themselves.
I know. I remember at the Portland Comedy Festival where I met you, you were, oh my gosh, you were so brave to go up there and do the roast. And I'm like,
Oh, you know that I still have nightmares from this. I still have I forget his name. What's his name?
Eric.
Oh, I roasted him so hard. I was so scared of him. And he had a bunch of jokes about my shoes. He's like, so you're into men, but you're wearing these lesbian shoes. And I found these shoes in my car the other day, and I was just like,
Oh
I
my.
can never wear them again. I was like,
I would have paid you $1,000 to roast him up one side and down the other. He was the biggest mole ever around that place. So he deserved everything you gave him and more.
you know, the best part was you were so helpful because I was walking around like trying to find people who knew something about him, and everybody was like, "He's an asshole." I'm like, Jesus Christ! Well, I guess that makes it easier, but damn.
I was like, let me tell you some shit.
You were so ready. You're like, "This is my notebook. These are all the things he has done. Let me tell you."
Oh my
I
gosh.
should follow Instagram. I don't even know why.
I remember putting up these flyers. The club told me I could put flyers because I taught comedy. I could put them here and here and here, and I paid to print them, and I put them up myself, and I'd come back the next day, and they're all in the trash. That's just one of the many, many things about him. I know dirt on that boy.
Well, okay, but I hope that he also still cries about all the really. I said some mean shit to him.
He did. He was crawling off the stage, Annagret. So beautiful.
Brutal. I didn't even know I had that inside of me, but out of sudden it was just like.
Do you understand how mean somebody has to be for me to give you, all this ammunition? And then I was holding back a bunch more.
Here's the thing, Linda, I already told you I quit comedy since we last seen each other, but I feel like maybe for the right roast, I'll come back.
Oh, that'd be so great.
But only if you give me all the
Dirt?
yes, all the you have to give me all of the information. Then maybe I'll consider it.
Okay, well, I'll find a roast here in Vegas. As soon as I find somebody they're roasting who's been an asshole to me, I'll let you know. That would be Let's get even with this guy or girl.
Linda, you have a list, and you're like, okay, you be an asshole to me, I'll have somebody roast you. So I'll teach you. I love that, Linda. And I'm like, I'm going to kick your ass, I'm going to send you burning poo or something. No, you're like, I'm going to make somebody roast you. That's
Yeah.
the best form of revenge I've ever heard of.
Yes. So tell me, I met you at the Portland Comedy Festival. You were fabulous as a comic. I'm sad that you're not still, practicing comedy right now because you're so good at it. You're so funny and you have such a unique twist on comedy and such a great voice, because you have a whole different perspective on life and it makes you so interesting. So what have you been doing?
Linda, first, thank you so much for saying that. And I remember the Portland Comedy Festival so fondly. Like all of these amazing people I met. I was so in awe of Portland's comedy scene, the way you guys treated each other, except for some people, apparently. But most people were very courteous and kind to each other, and it was the most, to me, it felt like the ideal place to do comedy, because I'm a little sissy when shit gets too real. That is hard for me to swallow, but it
Yes.
was so sheltered and beautiful. It was like perfect. It's like little comedy heaven.
Aww.
And then when I went back to Hollywood, we had to pay for mics again. I hear that in Portland you don't have to.
No. That's so hard.
It's, you need like a job just to pay all of your open mics. But then once I got back to Hollywood, what I realized is that Hollywood very, very nitty gritty, very aggressive, not in a bad way. But I realized that for me to be in this 24/7, that's not me. I love doing it. It was worth every fucking tear I shed. Absolutely. Like, I learned so much. I met so many amazing people. But then I also had to be honest to myself and say, you know what? There's other things you could probably do better and feel less like wanting to drown yourself on a constant basis.
Yes, I get it.
I was like, I like my life, so let's go that way. So, all of the jokes I wrote, I am actually putting together a show that I'll film sometime.
You are? Oh my gosh. That's wonderful. So,
If somebody wrote these jokes, gotta use it, right?
yeah. That's so cool. So do you think you'll do a one-woman show?
Right now, it looks more like a sitcom, but it's going to be a short form, so maybe like 8 episodes or so, and 10 minutes each. It's going to be absurd because most of the comedy I make is absurd. So,
Wow.
I'm looking forward to that.
That's so great. So basically you're taking some of your best stuff and you're going to act it out or have it acted out.
Sorta. Like, put it in. I have a like something like an umbrella that goes over everything, and then I'll use some of those jokes that are already written from situations that really happened in my life, and I'm going to put that in there, and it works way better than I thought it was going to.
That's so great.
It's not all lost.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So when that comes, ready to go, I don't know the verbiage, but when that gets ready to go out there, let me know so I can help promote it on here and online. I know we're. You appreciate it? You said.
Yes, a lot.
Thank you.
Here's the thing. This is what I like so much about you, Linda, and I appreciate that so much about you. You're such an amazing supporter. Like, you have so much love to give, and you're not afraid of sharing it. And I realize that we as humans, we are a little closed off and a little scared of feeling maybe too much for the wrong person, whatever that may mean.
Yes.
And like all of the support and all the love you give, that doesn't take away from you. It makes you even stronger, and even kinder, and even more unique and wonderful.
Thank
So
you so much. I appreciate that. You know, I know when I was growing up, I never felt my parents wanted me. Never. I don't know why I got that in my head, other than my dad said my mother didn't want me. But other than that.
We'll do it for you. You know, they'll do it.
And then she took her whole life trying to tell me it wasn't true, and I wouldn't believe it until like the end of her life. And I don't know. I know the pain of being ignored, of being overlooked, of being put down, or feeling like you're not wanted. I know, and I never want to cause that. So that's where it comes from.
Intent for your life. Holy smart. Because it takes awareness not to do something like that, right? Because now you have to make conscious decisions every fucking day. No. So, and Linda, the world can see it, Linda. Like, seriously, and I can feel it. You're such a warm person, and yeah, it feels very safe to be around you. That's good.
It's like I don't have any motives. I'm just in the moment, trying to enjoy the moment. Like I come with no hidden agenda. And people go, "What's so special about you?" I'm like, I don't know. I just don't. I'm not coming into the comedy festival to be famous. I'm not doing comedy because I want to get rich. I'm not doing anything for what I can. I'm actually going through life seeing what I want to give.
I love that.
And you cannot give too much. That's the weird thing. You can't.
That's true. It's like the more you love, the more love you get back as well, right? But somehow somebody taught us that there was only a limited amount of love, and you better hold on to it, and you better be really stingy with it. Right? No, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
You're such a genuine person. I think that's what makes you so special.
What does?
You're so genuine.
Oh,
You're
thank
the
you.
real Linda.
Thank you so much. I remember like not feeling like I was wanted like my sister and by my mother, and not feeling like I was wanted like my twin brother by my dad. And I want everybody to feel wanted. I don't care if they like me. I don't care if they think I'm a phony, but I don't want anybody to feel what I ever felt.
Yeah, and that's beautiful because let's be really honest, you could also make the choice, and a lot of people do that, and bless their hearts, they just don't know any better. They go the exact same, different direction. They say, well, since I've been hurt, now I get to hurt people.
Yes. Ugh.
And
Because hurting people hurt others.
that's exactly, so that's so true because, yeah, so you made a conscious decision to go the exact opposite direction and instead heal, and I think that's amazing.
But like you, I didn't become a human right away. It took me a long time to get.
Yeah, you had to earn that too first.
Because
What made you human, Linda?
when I was growing up, my father had survived the concentration camps over in the old country, right? He literally was in them. And so the way he survived was by lying, cheating, and stealing. And I always knew the concocted stories that he told us did not add up. And so when he passed, I thought, well, he always taught me to lie, so he must be lying. So let me go dig. And I dug. I went to the German government and asked them, how could my father survive 7 concentration camps when most didn't survive 1?
Yeah.
And so I found out. I found out how he survived was by, the truth is the truth. And if somebody doesn't like me saying the truth, that's too bad. It's my truth. And so my whole life I lied, I cheated, and I stole because my father told me to, and I wanted his love. And then I came to awareness, wait, those stories don't add up. And so I, when you have your own child, you don't want them to lie, cheat, and steal. You just know that. So you're trying to teach them to do the right thing. So, but I really, when I went back and found out how my father made it through the Holocaust, he brought young Jewish girls to the SS to have them. Yeah, that's how my father survived the camps. So he was constantly not living in the moment. He was still stuck in the past, programmed to survive. And when I have a lot of regret for how at 2 years old, I was taught to do things that are wrong. And so now I want the rest of my life to be a testimony to the fact that, oh yes, people can too change their stripes.
And you sure did. There's no more stripes. You got all the dots now.
Isn't that crazy that you take a child and teach them to lie, cheat, and steal?
It hurts me because I'm thinking he believed that was a necessity. That was the only way you could survive in this world, right? And then I am so disgusted that Germany put people in such a horrible position where you literally have to choose between your life and the life of young girls, and often we will choose our own lives first, right? Because that is hard to put myself in that situation, and I think a lot of people, who knows how many other people had done exactly the same.
Thank you. Anybody that says that they were Jewish in Europe, Western Europe, during World War II and survived, had to make some life choices that they're not proud of. They had to. So.
Yeah. And then I don't think anybody can really be super mad at them because they fought for their survival. Everybody did, and it was such a horrible time to even make it out alive. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible, seriously. Yeah.
So this isn't supposed to be about me, it's not my therapy hour, but let's just get off. I just wanted to end it with, so my parents became parents, but they were still not in the moment. They were in World War II, most of their life. So my whole childhood, way before I knew what it was, I was trying to get them to be present and in this moment, enjoy this moment. And that's where my comedy comes from, is you could see pain when you're 2 years old on your parents' face. You can see trauma. And so that's the motivation I have behind my comedy is it's not just Holocaust survivors. Anybody in the audience has been through something, and that's what I see when I'm on stage. I see wounded people that, aren't in the moment. How do you get them to be in this moment?
Yeah. And it's so interesting how pain is still one thing that unites us more than anything else. I see this when I try to talk to somebody and be like, hey, what's the best thing that happened to you today? Often they will divert and go, you want to hear about the worst thing? The pain is still the one thing that we can share easier than the joys. Maybe because we don't think that we're allowed to, or maybe it's not safe. But then how beautiful for us as comics, or me as ex-comic, that you get to heal somebody on the other end, or just for a quick minute give them some relief and not think about whatever fucked up thing is happening in their life.
Yes.
So, yeah.
How many times in a day you can have 30,000 good things happen, and yet we focus on that one thing where somebody ignored you or yelled at you, the bank balance wasn't what you thought. We are so programmed to cut ourselves short of really living and being thankful for all the good, bringing out the good. I want to bring out the good in people.
Yes.
There's
Yes, 1000%.
just think if somebody could have brought out the good in bad dictators and leaders, if we could bring out the good in somebody. Everybody has good.
That's an interesting concept, the thought, because I don't think anybody really is born bad.
Right.
One horrible choice after another makes them the herd, and
The looks on your
I
face.
say the words, but I'm like, yeah, just like it's a choice. Like people, like so many people say, "Oh, I've been hurt. Now I get to hurt people. I am in pain, and therefore you have to suffer too." And that happens in small, everyday scenarios where, I don't know, somebody cuts you off and then they flip you off, even though you're like, they're cut you off, and you're like, what the fuck just happened? But then it goes on to, I don't know, a wife and a husband beating each other, and it goes on and on and on, and then of course it gets into much larger scales until some asshole like Hitler says, no, I'm going to make everybody around me suffer because I suffer.
Exactly. That's exactly how it happens. Like one time I heard a pastor saying he had the altar call at the end of the service, and he noticed this high-powered executive in the city, very famous, let's call him Bill Gates maybe, and it was in Seattle. I don't know if it was Bill Gates, probably not. And every time he'd say, come forward if you want to accept Jesus Christ, this guy would grab the altar, the pew really hard until he got white knuckles. And then the pastor noticed that he was grabbing it less and less tight every time. And that's kind of like our hearts. When we first are children, you say, oh, that poor doggy, Lassie, the show Lassie, or that makes you cry. And then as we get older, we're hardened and nothing affects us. Are you there? Did you freeze up? What happened here? It froze up on us. Come back to me, Annagret. It froze up. You should see this cute picture of you. Annagret? Oh, no, you left. Maybe you'll come back. Come back, Annagret. Hi, Barry. You want us to look at your YouTube? Is that what you're saying? Stay tuned, Katie. She'll come back. Somehow, I think the internet kicked her off. My computer died. She'll be right back. So let's hang in there. Let's stay here. Isn't she amazing? I just love her so much. She's somebody that you could meet her at a coffee shop, or when you're like buying clothes, or at a strip club, or a comedy show, anywhere. And you could get to talking to her and just adore the heck out of her. Here she is back. So we did it. We kept it rolling, Annagret. We kept talking while you were gone.
I'm so sorry. Just when it got really, really intense, and then my computer died on me. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. But that's how humans are. We start out very soft and then we get hard. That's the point.
Yeah. Oh, that's yeah.
I wish that people in comedy, let's just take comedy, acting, the arts, like women that give recipe, like if you ask somebody, oh, that's really good chocolate cake, could I get the recipe? Us bitches, we will leave out an ingredient, right? I know baby boomers were that way. But when we're all trying to figure out Zoom and all these video things, and like if somebody asks me something, how to do something, I'll tell them everything I know. Or if you want to get on a show, I'll tell you the booker. But there's so many people that have been so hurt they refuse to help others.
And that comes down to this whole somehow there's a limited amount of love or a limited amount of whatever. But there really isn't. There really isn't. Because every time you help somebody else, okay, unless they're complete assholes, they're going to be so happy to help you again too, sometime in the future.
Yeah.
Or somebody, like, I remember when I see casting calls, often they'll ask for a very specific type of person. I realize that I'm not right, but I know, oh, my friend is right for this. So I'll forward it because it doesn't hurt me.
No.
But I've been approached before where people are like, why do you do that? And I'm like, because it makes me feel good. It has nothing to do with that other person. It's all about me. If I feel good in the doing of it, let me fucking do it.
Yeah. And in a way, remember the episode on Friends when Phoebe was trying to do one thing that was unselfish and everything kept pointing back to there was selfishness inside of everything unselfish, you know? And so like when I do something good, I'm really doing it for the world, but I'm also, I want to sleep good. I want to look in the mirror and like what I see. You know, there's selfishness to unselfishness.
Yeah. And I also think that selfishness as is, at the very core and at the very rawest form, is nothing bad. To taking care of yourself. If you don't love yourself, how the fuck are you supposed to love somebody else? You have to come first. And then everything else second and third. You have to be a good person. Be a good person to yourself so you can be a good person to others.
Amen. So tell me, in your acting, what kind of acting roles have you done that you're so, I want to hear your most exciting, fun things and what you want to still do.
So I think my most exciting one was I was back in Germany. I had recently graduated from grad school, and I played it was a very dark theater play, and it was the first time ever anybody put this on the stage. It was very avant-garde. It was about a case of a lady that actually was in the news in Germany. There was this woman, she got pregnant repeatedly, but her husband or boyfriend was very abusive, so she was very scared for the babies. So she would kill them and plant them in her pots and put tomatoes on top of it or whatever. I know, absolutely insane. And people, there were psychologists and sociologists trying to figure out why she would do this. And she was like, it seems safer for me as the person who loved the babies the most to let them go instead of bringing them up in a world where I know that my partner is going to abuse them.
Wow.
It was such a, I got goosebumps. It was a terrifying role. I had bruises all over my body from rehearsals. I was in a very weird mental spot because I make this all myself and try to decipher it. But it was one of the most rewarding things I've ever done because it really made people think about this whole thing. And it's because everybody addressed, oh, she's a child murderer. Yes, she is. But why did she do that? Because nobody ever helped her getting rid or putting her in a safer situation from the abusive partner. So there's always so many other sides to a story, and it was a very challenging role, but
Man, that sounds like something you should get an Oscar for.
that's only theater. Nobody gives a damn about theater anymore.
It should go on the big screen.
Yes, exactly. Well, you know, in asking what else I have planned, my ultimate goal has always been, I always wanted to be on a sitcom. I always wanted to be, I don't have to be the main person. I don't care. It doesn't have to be that. But a sitcom, something fast, where I can use my comedy skills, but also I get the immediate feedback from an audience. Sometimes there is one, sometimes there isn't, but that seems to be the most perfect, just like symbiosis of all the things that make me happy. So,
What's a good role that would intrigue you?
let's see. Phoebe was absolutely nuts. So I did appreciate her a lot. That's a good one.
Phoebe was a lot like George Burns' wife, Gracie Allen, like a modern Gracie Allen. Just wacky.
So, yeah, and I just love it so out of the ordinary, so in her own world. Like, I really did appreciate that a lot.
Me too.
Right?
Have you met celebrities in California? Have you met and do you know?
I see people sometimes, but honestly, I don't care enough.
That's good.
A person like me, they just really things, and I'm not. So.
Zach, they're just like you.
But now I do remember. It's so stereotypical. But one time I was in the OC and I was driving, just minding my own business, and I looked to the side, and there's David Hasselhoff, and I'm just like, whoa! I almost crashed into another car.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not immune to him.
You know, he is still huge over in Europe, isn't he?
Yeah, it's gross. I don't even understand why. It's just I was like just born into the whole craze. I'm like, yeah, he's cool. I know why. No.
Yeah, he was. That's so crazy. Remember when he was he in the Kit Car show? The Kit Car?
Yes! Oh my god, I love that show. It was such a good show.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And he was in Baywatch. I don't know what else he's been in. Probably thousands of things.
Which I didn't like.
No.
But I feel like that's the only two things.
I know.
He probably wasn't more, but
Yeah.
the only two things that I really think of is Knight Rider and Baywatch.
Yeah.
And Baywatch I didn't even watch. So the Knight Rider, I was like, yeah.
I
I'm
went.
still talking to my car.
I went to Disneyland or Disney World. I can't remember. I went to both. And they had the Knight Rider, the Kit Car there. And the other guy's was behind the stage somewhere. And when children and their parents would go up, the other voice was there and he was talking to the kids. And I wanted him to talk to me. So he was talking to my daughter and I said, how about me? How about me? Finally he goes, okay, lady. It's like, shut up.
What did he tell you then? What did he say?
He's like, something about, okay, lady, I hear you. And then he went back to talking to my daughter because the show wasn't for older people. It was for the kids.
How's that fair? How's that fair? That's amazing. I love it.
So what type of sales do you do? Are you still in the...
I work in the food and beverage industry. Right now, I sell a sparkling water.
You do? Are you allowed to say what it is?
Yes, it's called Go High.
No way.
It sounds like there's drugs in there, but it's not.
Where does somebody try Go High sparkly water?
Well, I would probably have to first sell it into some store in Portland.
Yes. Did you know I moved to Vegas?
Going to a
I'm in Vegas now.
When did you move to Vegas?
I came here in August. No, I lied. I came here in October for a party, and it was in the green room at the Tropicana at the Laugh Factory. So I got to meet Harry Basil, his wife, and all the comics. And I was like, what the hell am I doing in Portland, Podunk, Oregon? You know, after you've seen Vegas and all the people there, I loved them all. They all loved me. And I was like, that's it. I'm dying in Portland. I'm moving to Vegas. So here I am.
That's awesome. That means I can come and visit you much easier because Portland is a fucking drive. Ashley and I, we actually drove up.
Oh, so many hours of nothing. Just straight. Oh, God, that drive.
I know. And we got stuck and we were like, Yeah, the 1 week in Portland, we were like, I'm sorry, I never thought I would say this, but there's too many fucking trains.
Sometime it's worth it to take the train.
Oh, that sounds hard.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
that's a lot better than trying to drive because there's hundreds of hours of nothing on that road. It's just like you have time to count the hair in your nose.
pretty much, yeah. We talked about everything. We got into the car, we barely knew each other, and by the time the drive was over, we were like, cool, we're best friends now.
I just want to end. I'd love to end on two things. The difference that comedy festival made in your life versus mine, and then winding it up where all on the internet people can follow you, because I have your Instagram and your YouTube, but anywhere else. So when you went to the Portland Comedy Festival and you got to hobnob with people like Mark Brazil, who writes sitcoms that, like, did you find a lot of the connections that you met have still been in your life, like Ashley Shapiro and...
Yeah, there's a lot of people in Portland that I talk to on a regular basis. I know that one of my, he's so cute, AC. He's super special to me. If he watches this, he's going to be surprised because I haven't talked to him in like months. But there are so many wonderful people, also people from LA that I got to connect with on a deeper level than before. I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about them. But literally, I didn't meet not even one single person at the Portland Comedy Festival where I was like, oh, I don't like them. It was it was really like utopia. Comedy utopia. Everybody who went to the Portland Comedy Festival came back. We had nothing but good things to say. We were so excited. I still am so grateful. I have the batch hanging in my kitchen. I'm so grateful. I'm so proud of myself too for making it up there and meeting all of the great people. It was the best way to end comedy.
Yes. And you're not sad about ending comedy. You've closed the door unless you get to roast somebody that's been mean to me.
Exactly, unless I get to roast somebody.
You're so good at that. That was so great to see that. The only time I could roast anybody myself is if it was a roast where you give them put-ups, not put-downs. Like, I love your jacket. Where did you get that? That is so beautiful. Like, that's how sickening I am. I can't roast somebody. I can't do it. So tell me, where can people follow you, Annagret?
Yes, so the easiest thing is definitely Instagram because that's where I'm at all the time. And that's at the real Annagret. And it is the real Annagret because I have another 2 Instagram accounts and I don't know how to get into them. So the real Annagret. And then on Facebook, Annagret Styoff. And
How do you spell the last name?
Styoff, Steioff.
Styoff. Okay.
And now your turn.
Where am I at on the internet?
No, I mean, how did the Portland Comedy Festival make a difference to you?
Oh, that's right. Well, in 1996, I got hit by a drunk driver. And so I have a clinical case of mild dementia due to brain trauma. And I was trying to overcome brain trauma and be a comic. And I had been trying to be the older comedian with the brain injury, and it wasn't working for me. And so I made a conscious effort for the festival to not refer to the brain injury in my comedy. And in fact, however many times they put me on stage, I wanted to do a different version of my set every time. I wanted to push myself. And so I was proud of myself on the one hand, and I exhausted myself to no end. I mean, Richard Chasler had to pick me up off the sidewalk after the last one because I bombed because I was so tired. And but the people that I met, you know, like I met there was a girl named Jessica, and I don't know where she's from, and then Ashley and you and Goldie and all the guys, Richard Chasler and Jeffrey Peterson, and then the panel of people up, and getting to go help with, you know, the little bit of work that I did for Dante and Rebecca. They just promoted the heck out of me afterwards. They just told everybody how wonderful I am. And I mean, that's what I mean by, like, when you give, you can never outgive. You'll always get back more. It was amazing. Their support back to me, and you know, because like, it was like, I felt like everybody came to my house at Harvey's, you know. Couldn't have been better for me, you know. I was at home.
That's awesome. I'm glad. You know, they really did something very special there. They did amazing. Yeah.
Yes, it was so great. I remember when the first day Dante and Rebecca got there, I don't think the club was optimistic that the place was going to sell out. But by the time Dante and Rebecca and their team, and we went up to the VA hospital on the streets of downtown Portland by Portland State University, and we went over to I can't even remember, the Pearl District, and passed out flyers, and other people were out there passing out flyers, and the place filled up.
Yup, it did every day, every night, and multiple times. It was amazing.
It was such a great thing. I know there's other festivals, but that's my favorite so far.
I think so too. I've been to a couple. I cannot name anyone, and I don't want anybody to get angry. But this one was definitely my favorite.
There was so much sharing of information. You know, you get into a conversation, they weren't giving out the recipe to their success and leaving out the main ingredient. They were just open.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Well, you've been so awesome to let me have a slice of your life today and be on here. And this is going to get uploaded to iTunes, Spotify, and a radio. I hired a tech girl, and I got a brand new, really high-powered computer an hour ago, and I'm going to get it working. And when I get it ready, where I can go live to Facebook from Zoom without using an iPhone to do it, I'll have you back on, because that'll be much better quality.
I'm excited though. This was awesome. Thank you so much, Linda. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Talking to me, and I had a bit of a shitty day, so this actually made it really good.
I'm sorry you had a shitty day. I'm glad you spent a little time with me. I'm sorry you had a shitty day, Annagret.
That's okay. There will be shitty days, but most of it is good days. So that's plus now we reset it. Now this is a good day.
Yes, and I can't wait to hear whatever else you're doing in the acting realm. Please keep me posted, will you?
Yeah, of course. And I want to know all the things that you do in Vegas.
Thank you. I will keep you posted, Annagret.
Yes, please.
Thank you. I love you to pieces. Love you.
Love you too. Thank you for everything. Please be safe.
Okay, you too. Bye. Love you. Miss you already. Come back. Yeah, she's a real doll. I love her to pieces. Can you see? Yeah, so much to talk about with people. Oh my gosh, I love her.